Have you ever wondered what a prominent figure's home looks like, only to be completely shocked by what you find? Well, JD Vance, the best-selling author of Hillbilly Elegy and now a well-known political figure, has managed to spark a lot of conversations recently, not because of his career, but because of his home. Yes, his home. People are absolutely buzzing about it, and not for the reasons you might expect. Stick around until the end because the details we're about to uncover will leave you stunned. When you think of someone as high profile as JD Vance, you probably imagine an elegant mansion, spotless decor, and a perfectly curated image. After all, he's someone who has built a reputation on his ability to connect with everyday Americans, especially with his honest portrayal of life in working-class communities. But the reality of JD Vance's home is far from what anyone could have predicted. Let's start with the buzz around this house. Photos of the interior recently surfaced, and they've left everyone talking. Many were expecting a classic, tastefully decorated home that reflects his public persona. Instead, what they saw was something completely unexpected. Cluttered rooms, questionable decor, and a sense of neglect that caught everyone off guard. It's not often you see such a disconnect between someone's public image and their personal space, and that's precisely what makes this so fascinating. The first thing people noticed was the state of disarray. Stacks of books and papers were scattered everywhere, giving the impression that JD either loves his research or simply doesn't care about tidying up. While there's nothing wrong with being a little messy, the level of chaos in some rooms was enough to make fans and critics alike do a double take. It's one thing to be relatable, but this felt more like a cry for help from someone overwhelmed by their own space. Then there's the decor, or lack thereof. Many people commented on the mismatched furniture and odd choice of colors that made the house feel less like a home and more like a storage unit. It's almost as if JD took whatever was available and threw it together without giving much thought to aesthetics. For someone in the public eye, this lack of attention to detail is surprising, to say the least. One of the most shocking aspects of the home, however, is the kitchen. Kitchens are often the heart of a home, a place where families gather and memories are made. But in JD's case, the kitchen was far from inviting. Outdated appliances, countertops piled high with dishes, and a general sense of neglect left many people wondering how someone with his resources could let things get this bad. But let's not forget the outside of the house. The yard, which should be a place of relaxation and pride, was anything but. Overgrown grass, weeds creeping into flower beds, and random items strewn across the lawn painted a picture of someone who either doesn't have the time or the inclination to maintain their property. It's a far cry from the polished image many had of JD Vance. So what does this all mean? Is JD simply too busy with his career to care about his home, or is there something deeper at play? Some fans have speculated that this is just another example of JD being a down-to-earth, relatable guy who doesn't care about material appearances. Others, however, see it as a troubling sign that he's neglecting important aspects of his personal life. One thing's for sure, this has sparked a lot of debate. People are divided on whether JD's home reflects his authentic self or if it's a sign of someone who's struggling to balance the demands of fame, politics, and personal life. Some have even gone so far as to suggest that the state of his home could hurt his reputation as it contrasts sharply with the image he's worked so hard to build. But let's take a step back and consider another possibility. Could this be JD's way of rejecting societal expectations? In a world where appearances often take precedence over substance, maybe this is his way of saying that he values authenticity over superficiality. After all, isn't it refreshing to see someone in the public eye who isn't obsessed with perfection? Regardless of how you interpret it, one thing is clear. JD Vance's home has given us all something to talk about. It's a reminder that even those in the spotlight are human, with flaws and imperfections that make them relatable. Whether you see his home as a sign of neglect or a symbol of authenticity, it's a fascinating glimpse into the private life of a very public figure. So, what do you think about JD Vance's home? Are you surprised by what you've seen and heard? Does it change the way you view him, or does it make you appreciate his authenticity even more? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As we wrap up this deep dive, it's worth reflecting on what this story teaches us about public figures and the expectations we place on them. At the end of the day, JD Vance's home is just that, a home. It may not be picture perfect, but it's a part of his story, one that reminds us all to embrace our imperfections and focus on what truly matters. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more stories that uncover the unexpected sides of the people we think we know. Until next time.